In Surah Al-Infitar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He asks us a very powerful question. He says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ya ayyuhal insanu ma gharraka bi rabbika al-kareem. O mankind, what has deceived you about your generous Lord? SubhanAllah, such a beautiful question and so important for all of our hearts, especially in the times we live in, these times of great deception where people are increasingly being deceived about our Creator. Deception can have many sources, starting with the great deceptive force, Shaitan himself. Shaitan's greatest tactics is to distort the truth, to distort reality. And the greatest way he does that is to distort your perception of Al-Haqq himself, the one who has named himself the truth, the one who is the source of all truth, our Creator. If Shaitan can get you to have a distorted perception about Allah, if he can deceive you about your own Creator, he has won. And this is what he tries to do. But it's really interesting, this verse doesn't just say, what has deceived you about your Lord? Allah could have just said that. No. What has deceived you about your generous Lord? مَا غَرَّكَ بِرَبِّكَ الْكَرِيمِ. What has deceived you about Allah's generosity? What made you forget how generous your Lord is? When you have doubts about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's generosity, when you have doubts about Allah's mercy, when shaitan or the people, or maybe even your own nafs, you see deception can have many sources. It could be shaitan, it could be your own nafs, it could be your arrogance, it could be your ignorance, it could be the people. I mean, people try to get people to, especially in the times we live in, there are people actively working to deceive you about Allah. And sometimes people do it unintentionally. Perhaps people make you doubt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala coming through for you, make you doubt that Allah is going to answer your prayers, make you doubt that Allah will give you a solution to your problems. Remember your generous Lord. Do not let all these sources of deception, do not let all these factors of deception deceive you about your generous Lord. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's generosity is beyond your imagination and is beyond something you can comprehend. His mercy to you is so great you cannot fathom it. When you start to have doubts about Allah, when you start to feel defeated, when you start to feel like all the doors are closed, when you start to feel like the world looks bleak and it feels like there's problems everywhere, remember this question that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks you, مَا غَرَّكَ بِرَبِّكَ الْكَرِيمِ. What has deceived you about your generous Lord? Never lose sight of Allah's great rahmah and great generosity.